Hey yo, what is going on? It's your boy X coming at y'all with a brand new video, and as you guys can see, we're here with another tier list, this one being on the small forwards. We already covered the power forwards and centers, so I will make sure to throw those down in the link in the description down below. You can check those out and see them, because if there's anybody that you think you're missing, check them out there. We do these positions based on primary positions, so if some guys are power forwards but are, you know, better as a small forward, they will be linked over there. So make sure you guys check those out and drop a like on this video down below. Would really help me out. So first off, you guys can see we're starting off with the Galaxy Opal Michael Beasley, a card that I'm actually a massive, and I mean massive, fan of. I love the Michael Beasley base. I just think he's a super great card overall. So we're gonna snag him right into the A tier, wasting no time throwing him up there. I just think he's a beautiful card, works really, really well, and is honestly just amazing. Now, next we have the Galaxy Opal Radish, who I think is going to be a bit of a controversial pick. He's one card that I know some people are calling a cone, which just does not make sense, because a cone is a guy who can only shoot threes and play some defense. Radish is not a cone. He has beautiful dribble moves. He can get open. He can cheese off screens. Beautiful peekaboo and a gorgeous jump shot. And in my opinion, is low-key a top 10 shooting guard in the game, let alone a small forward. I think he plays great at both. I do think Radish is a little bit worse as a, you know, small forward, but if I'm being honest, I still am going to throw Radish up in the S tier. Now, if I'm being honest, Radish definitely lower as a S tier. You know, we're gonna move him down a little bit, but he's still an S tier card in my opinion, no matter what. Just because he's a top 10 small forward, and I gotta throw a top 10, top 10 small forward shooting guard up into that. Next up, go Giannis. I mean, I think we all kind of expected this one to happen. Giannis is obviously an S tier candidate, one of the best cards ever to be released in 2K history. Absolutely gorgeous, and he's falling beautifully up into S. Next up, we have the Diamond J Crowder, who honestly is a pretty decent card. Now, I'm not going to say that J Crowder is absolutely insane, but he's definitely not too bad. But as a small forward, I think 6'6" as a height just really isn't cutting it anymore. But 6'8" wingspan is nice. But the one thing that hurts him for me personally is the fact that he has the James Harden jump shot, which is a little bit slow, even on the half quick draw. So for me personally, although he is a beautiful budget shooting guard, Jay Crowder is going to have to fall into the D tier as a small forward for me. Sad to see, but I will say he has potential to be a lot higher on the list. Next up, we have a bit of an interesting card in Galaxy Opal, Jamal Wilks. This is a card that just came out pretty recently, and I think it's one that people haven't really had too much time to use greatly, but they still have had a time to at least, you know, test them out a little bit. But Jamal Wilks, another 6'6" kind of shooting guard, or small forward shooting guard, which isn't too great, but a nice 6'9" wingspan. And he has amazing stats, which you would think people would absolutely love. But some people aren't a big fan of his jump shot, which is jump shot 35, the same as like a Peja Stojakovic and things like that. So I'm honestly going to have to take this Jamal Wilks and throw him pretty far down on our list, and I think I'm going to have to throw him C tier, because that's where I think I'd have somebody like Peja Stojakovic as well. Just not very great, not an amazing card, and it's just that jump shot, it really just holds him back. Next up, we have Byron Russell, who is a little 6'8" kind of guy. Decent jump shot, decent animations, but to me, doesn't really wow me. Again, I'm going to throw him into C tier. He's just really not the most amazing of cards, and not one that I would want to use on a consistent basis, that is. But still, not horrible. Next up, Diamond Jamario Moon is a card that's actually really nice as a budget option. I'd say maybe like a B to A tier as a budget option, maybe like right in the middle there as a budget option. But if we're talking about a general card at the small forward, you know, that you'd want to use all the time, I don't think that this Jamario Moon is top tier. He has a nice 6'8" size and a 7-foot wingspan at the 2 guard, not too bad, and has a jump shot 5, which is the same as like a Bob McAdoo or Derrick Jones Jr., which means it's pretty money, long athlete layup package, a bunch of beautiful things on him, but I think in the grand scheme of things is going to have to fall into our C tier here, just because he's quite slow. Jamario Moon is like an 80 speed, and I know for some people it might not hurt too much, but for me personally, it just ain't it. Now, next up we have the Pink Diamond Robert Covington. A bit of a controversial one for me because I feel like a lot of people absolutely love this Robert Covington card, but for me sometimes he can fall a little bit flat and just feel a little lackluster. You can kind of feel as if he's not the greatest. For me, his dribbling moves, even though they've gotten buffed, to me just aren't still top tier. His jump shot's amazing. I know a lot of people that absolutely love him, but for me, Covington is still an A. I don't think Covington is at the same level as like a Cam Radish or a Giannis. I would still much rather use one of those guys over Robert Covington, but I understand in the right hands of Robert Covington is absolutely amazing. So if you want to put him S, I really wouldn't be too mad about it, and I could definitely understand your reasoning at least with it. Next up, we have the Galaxy Opal Andrew Wiggins, who's a card that even his Pink Diamond just didn't really impress me too much. You know, he's not bad. Again, a 6'8" kind of guy, has a jump shot 22, which is nice, kind of like a Jimmy Butler. Shoots threes pretty well, does a lot of good things. But for me, again, just falls a little bit flat in a lot of categories. So I'm gonna have to throw him into the B tier. I feel like with Andrew Wiggins, he's not a card that really impresses me, but he's not a card that offends me and that I absolutely hate. So B tier you go. Next up, Galaxy Rudy Cedric Ceballos. He's going to have to fall into C tier. Cedric just has, a decent release, some decent defense, a not too bad finishing ability. It's actually pretty nice if I'm being honest. I was being a little harsh there, but he's 6'6". That's the one thing that kind of hurts Cedric Ceballos, and he has the jump shot 10, which is, Penny Hardaway, Bill Russell. That's the jump shot that not too many people like, especially as a small forward 2 guard, meaning you're going to want to run him as a 2. So I think with that release being pretty hurtful to him, he's going to fall C. But if you use him, he's an amazing slasher, can still play some great defense, and it's overall a pretty decent card, so not too bad. Next up, Galaxy Dave the Busher is like the Cedric Ceballos, just with a significantly better jump shot 26, one like a Nick Young. A jump shot that I absolutely love, so I'm going to throw him into B tier. Cedric Ceballos is like the worst version of Dave the Busher. If you're going to pick up one of the two, pick up Galaxy Dave anytime, because he's just an absolute beauty of a card. Now next is this Galaxy Hakeem Olajuwon. This is a card that for me is really difficult to rank. I don't have too many strong feelings about where I land him, but the one thing that I don't like about this Hakeem Olajuwon is the fact that he has such a slow release as a small forward, power forward, and I think as a power forward you can really get away with this Hakeem Olajuwon, and I think that's where he shines. But as a small forward, I think where we're talking is either A or B tier. But I feel like as a power forward, he's probably in like S to A. But as a small forward, I think I'm going to throw him in A tier, a low A tier. I'm debating throwing him B. But I like the fact that he's a 7-foot center that can play really good in there. And if you want to just shoot the occasional 3 with him, I feel like you definitely could and could get away with it. So we're going to stick with the A tier. Next up, we have Diamond Wesley Johnson. For me, very solidly is fitting into the C tier. I feel like Wesley Johnson gets more hate than he deserves, is honestly a really nice diamond card. As a budget option, is absolutely beautiful, one that I recommend to a lot of people to pick up because nice jump shot, good defense, great size, great everything, and overall just is an absolutely beautiful card. And same goes with this Gerald Wallace, except I love the jump shot 4, so Gerald Wallace is finding his way up into A tier. Gerald Wallace I had in one of my top shooting guards list. He's just absolutely beautiful. Jump shot 4 again is an amazing one. He has beautiful defense and just absolutely insane. Now if I was going to be talking about this Gerald Wallace as a shooting guard, I'd probably sneak him into S tier. But as a small forward, I would prefer somebody who's at least 6'8". Gerald Wallace is just missing out at about 6'9", or 6'7", sorry. So we're going to have to knock him a little bit down. But Gerald Wallace still an absolute beast of a card, just knocked down a little bit because he is a little undersized at the 3. Just because some people are running like 6'9", 6'10", small forward, it can get a little wild. Next up, we have Deadlift Shrimp, who I'm going to throw into B tier. Another card that doesn't excite me, but really doesn't upset me in any sort of way. Really good size, a nice jump shot and jump shot 40. Decent defense, lacking a bit of moving truck, which sometimes I don't really like, because if you're going against this Hakeem Olajuwon, he's going to back you down to the post all day, and you're really not going to be able to do too much. But it's a pretty decent card, and overall, not too bad. Next up, we have Galaxy Opal Alex English, who's another B tier card for me. Has that jump shot 55 like a Carmelo Anthony. Some pretty decent jump shot or animations as well for dribbling. Some good defense, and overall, again, another one of those cards which doesn't really impress me, but doesn't really This really hurt me, so I think he can sit in the B tier pretty nicely. Overall, not too bad of a card, and definitely better running as a 2 guard than a 3 personally for me. And same goes with this Gordon Hayward, who I'm also going to throw into B tier. Even before the steady shooter, takeaway, it was still an amazing card, is still an absolute beast, and definitely solid B tier selection. Same with Wilson Chandler. I feel like all 3 of these guys are beautiful small forwards, but definitely work better at the 2. And overall, just do a lot of things well. Wilson Chandler, 6'9", and Gordon Hayward, 6'8". Can play a good jump shots. Hayward's being a little bit better than Wilson Chandler's, but good defense, good rebounding, everything as a guard or small forward. Beautiful cards, definitely ones that I recommend picking up. And next we have the piece of Galaxy Rudy Gay, one of my favorite cards, and I'm gonna have to throw him up into S tier. Rudy Gay is just that can do everything so well at the small forward in the 2 guard position that is just kind of unfair. His jump shot is just beautiful. It's so easy to time. It's so money. His dribbling animations, other than his moving behind the back, are beautiful, especially in the half court, and that's really all I worry about too much. Not too much of a full court dribbler, so I think he's a beautiful card. And if you've gone 12-0, you gotta throw Rudy Gay in the lineup. It's just kind of like the rules at this point. Next up, Galaxy Steven Jackson. A nice 6'8", kind of 2 guard 3 with the Michael Beasley base. Again, I love the Michael Beasley base, so I'm gonna have to throw Steven Jackson up into the A tier. It's one of my favorite bases in the game, if not my favorite. It's just beautiful. It's nice, clean, good defense as well. Again, a great size at the 2 or the 3. Overall, pretty nice card. Definitely one that I've been recommending to people because he's actually pretty cheap now as well, so a really good one to try and run. Next up, Galaxy Andre Iguodala. I haven't really bought too much into the hype, and I'm going to have to throw Iggy up into B. I've seen a lot of people that are throwing him into A and like him, but the jump shot for me just wasn't really it. His dribbling animations just for me sometimes felt a little iffy, and I tried using him a few times. He just never really took over the game. But if you want to use Iggy as like a cone at the 2 to play some good defense and do that sort of thing, he's great. But I still think he's not amazing as a 3 either because he's only 6'6". I'd rather just run him at the 2. So B is where I'm going to rank this Iggy. Just a little lackluster if I'm being honest. Next up, we have Galaxy Opal Carmelo Anthony, another easy A tier card for me. For some reason, this Carmelo actually has a jump shot 55 and not the Carmelo Anthony jump shot base, meaning it's a little bit worse. Jump shot 55 is just slightly worse than the Carmelo Anthony, jumper base. I don't know why they did this to Melo, but they did it. But Melo Jello has some beautiful dribbling animations, awesome defense, great size, and just great everything, honestly, about him. I love this Carmelo Anthony and definitely recommend that a lot of people go ahead and pick him up because he's just an absolute beast. Absolute beast. Next up, Galaxy Sean Marion. This one for me, C tier. The reason I don't like the Sean Marion, despite some other people hyping up how great he plays defense, is that jump shot, no matter what, somehow finds a way to get blocked when you're playing in-game. Somebody finds a way to come through and just send it, and it just ruins your day. Imagine getting a green, but getting blocked because Sean Marion is throwing up a titty shot. Like, I can't have it, I can't do it, and he's going to have to sit in the C because he's got some great other aspects of his game, like the defense and all this sort of stuff, but the fact that I cannot shoot a 3 when I want to without, like, worrying if I'm going to get blocked, at least you got to go C. Next up, Galaxy Rick Barry. This one, for me, easy, is down to D tier. Rick Barry's release is just too slow. He has a lot of other, great parts, to him, but I just cannot warrant putting a card with that slow of a release any higher than he is. The pink diamond was booty. Galaxy Opal is as well. Next up, Galaxy Kawhi Leonard. Again, another easy one, S tier. This Kawhi Leonard is absolutely beautiful. That Ray Allen jump shot base, awesome dribbling animations, beautiful defense. I do think Kawhi's better as a 2 instead of a 3, but absolutely love him and is going to be a card that I think is top tier for quite a long time coming, if we're being honest. Next up is Galaxy Opal Bill Russell. This is another card that I feel like if he didn't have his jump shot 10, if he had just a slightly better jump shot, if we gave Bill Russell even like jump shot 26, something different that wasn't jump shot 10, it wasn't so slow. Michael Beasley, maybe even Robert Covington. If he had Robert Covington, it's like, oh my god. But just a bit of a better release. I feel like we could, moving him around. Okay, Kawhi, get back up in your spot. I feel like if he had just a bit of a different release, we could be moving Bill Russell and talking about him being absolutely insane up here in S. But I'm going to throw Bill Russell right in the middle. Nice little B tier. Hopefully, when we get a GOAT Bill Russell card, they change his release to something absolutely gorgeous. and we can move him just skyrocketing up the list, because if we get an all 99 Bill Russell with a beautiful jump shot, it is over for 2K. He's going to be absolutely insane. But for now, our guy is going to have to sit, sadly, in the B tier. Next up, we have a Galaxy Opal Paul Pierce, a card that I actually really like. For my free Opals, I threw him up into S tier as a free Opal because I just feel like he's absolutely beautiful and do a lot of things well. I love the bailout post game that Paul Pierce brings, but I do think as the general scope of, you know, small forwards, he's definitely a B tier because he can't shoot corner threes. But if you run him at the 2, I feel like you can get away with that a little bit. You run a 5 out, Paul Pierce is sitting a hash instead, and it actually pulls you a little bit closer, so it's easy to green. But in the general scope of small forwards, definitely right in the middle there, nice at B tier. Next up, picked up a Bruce Bowen. For me, again, this one's pretty easy, and I'm throwing him down into C. Bruce Bowen hasn't done anything to make me absolutely hate him, but his, you know, dunking ability just isn't amazing. His 3-point is beautiful, his defense is great, but his dribbling animations are just pretty lackluster for me, and overall, I'm not really with him. He's just not a card that I'm just jumping out of my socks to use, so he's just gonna have to fall a little bit flat. Next up, we have Galaxy Opal Tommy Hineson, who is a pretty decent card, but he lacks a bit in the tendencies when we're talking about defense, but overall, really good defensive stats, super nice speed, he can shoot the ball pretty well, and has jump shot for, you know, the Kevin McHale, Dino Raja, Gerald Wallace kind of jump shot, which I think is pretty beautiful, and another one of my top favorites, you know, up there with the Michael Beasley release. But again, I don't think has anything too special to knock him up super high on the list, so we're going to have to throw him down there at the B tier, just falling right in the middle. Next up, Galaxy Opal Zion Williamson, although I do think Zion is definitely better played at the PG because he's only 6'6". I feel like he just brings a little bit more for me than a Andre Iguodala does because I like the Zion Williamson jump shot, and I'm going to throw him A, which might be honestly a little bit blasphemous to some of you guys, but remember, these lists that we're making out here are based on primary position. So I'm ranking Zion as he plays as a small forward, and as Zion plays as a small forward is really good, but I don't think it's top tier. I would rather have a Rudy Gay, a Giannis, Cam Reddish, or Kawhi Leonard at my 3 than this Zion Williamson, just because 6'6" is just a little bit too slow and just isn't one that I want. And there's better guys out here, honestly. But next up, Galaxy Opal Rashard Lewis, who has the J.R. Smith base 49 jump shot, is 6'10", and it's absolutely gorgeous. But there's one thing that hurts this Rashard Lewis, which a lot of people don't actually know about, and that's the fact that 2K slows the releases down of guys that are above 6'10", and sadly, Rashard falls into that list, being 6'10", which means he gets a slower base 49 jump shot than that of J.R. Smith. If Rashard Lewis was 1 inch shorter, being 6'9", and had the base 49 jump shot, I can guarantee you people be throwing him up into S tier and absolutely loving him, but because he has that slightly slower release, it hurts him a little bit, and I don't think that Rashard makes the top tier cut, which is sad for him, but I still think it makes him a really nice card, and I'm again going to throw him A tier because I feel like if you think about Rashard Lewis in terms of like a cone that can play really good defense like a Jimmy Butler, you still would want him on your team. Speaking of Jimmy Butler, we're also going to throw him into A tier. I feel like he's really good. He has a nice catch and shoot jump shot. The dribbling animations for you aren't going to be the greatest, but you know every time he's going to catch that ball off, you know, half dime or something like that, it's going in. He's not going to lack on defense and help you out a lot. So yeah, pretty nice. And Jimmy Butler, 6'8", nice little beautiful jump shot 22. Awesome defense. Overall, just a beautiful card and definitely one that I recommend it to a lot, and I mean a lot of people. Next up, Galaxy of Paul George. Again, gonna throw in to the A tier. I feel like Paul George is just missing that one teeny little thing that makes him absolutely top tier, and that's just because for some reason on PG himself, the PG release just feels wrong, but on a guy like Cam Reddish, it feels absolutely gorgeous. I don't understand why, but I'm taking Cam Reddish over Paul George every single second of the day. And also Paul George is missing some moving truck, which at the small forward can really hurt you. Next up, Galaxy will take over Giannis. Another easy little pick for me, sliding up in there to the S tier. Take over Giannis is just absolutely beautiful. One of my favorite cards in the game. The second you put that Giannis on your team, he can just absolutely transform it. He carries the load on offense, carries the load on defense, and just does everything absolutely gorgeous for you. You gotta love him on your squad. Next up, Galaxy Opal Scotty Pippen, who's a bit of a weird one again for me to rank, just because I feel like Scotty's so much better at his secondary position than he is at his primary position, but he did get a boost to his jump shot, which is amazing, and I think that still qualifies him for being into the A tier because of that faster jump shot. I think with Scotty Pippen being a small forward, it kind of hides the fact that he's not the greatest of shooters and amplifies how great he is of a defender, because running Scotty at the 3, it'll allow you to run, you know, somebody like Zion at the PG instead of, you know, Scotty, for example, if you want to do that. And then Scotty can still guard the PG, play lockdown defense, and do everything beautifully. So I think he is an absolutely gorgeous card to have on any lineup. Let's move these guys down here. So, and next up we have Galaxy Rudy Russo. Easy B tier for me. Rudy is just a gorgeous card. 6'8", amazing defense, amazing post game, awesome animations. Love his jump shot, love everything about him. Super slept on, and a card that people need to wake up and start using because he's just a beautiful, and I mean beautiful card. Next up, a Galaxy Opal Michael Porter Jr., a card that I love at 6'10", but again, like the Rashard Lewis, his jump shot's going to feel a little bit slower, which is why I'm not going to have him into the S tier, but it's still absolutely gorgeous. A super fun card to use. Great defense, great offense overall, awesome post game, and everything about him I feel is just beautiful. Next up, a Galaxy Opal Lamar Odom. I debated putting him down to A tier, but everything that Lamar provides is just so beautiful. Awesome, you know, playmaking, awesome jump shot with the Lamarcus Aldridge base. I know that he only has the, you know, gold quick draw, and that can hurt him a little bit, but I don't care. Every time I use Lamar, it doesn't matter. He does everything just so beautifully. And next up, Diamond Nicholas Patoom, another easy B tier selection for me. Just does everything beautifully. Awesome card. Can play amazing defense at 6'9". He has an awesome jump shot at jump shot 40, and can just do everything beautifully for you when you're using him on the court. You gotta love him. There's no hating him. Next, there's the Galaxy Bujito Turkalu, who for me has been very iffy as a PG, because I'm not a big fan of, you know, base 11 or Lamarcus Aldridge base, you know, PGs, but as a small forward, I think Hito fits very well. Has awesome stats, awesome animations for a small forward, can dribble cheese like crazy, and just really fits the small forward well. So as a PG, I probably would rank Hito down to like an A tier, just a little bit lower, but as a small forward, absolutely love him. Next up, Galaxy Thon Maker fits again into S tier. Thon, a 7-foot small forward, where every time I'm thinking, you know, Thon just isn't there, I go ahead and use him again and realize just why I've always ranked him so high. He's just absolutely beautiful. An awesome card that you gotta love running with. Next up, Galaxy Opal Ben Wallace, because obviously he has that Evo to go up, is for me fitting very solidly into the B tier. Nice little card overall. Again, doesn't do anything that absolutely insane to you, but definitely doesn't hurt you. He has a lack of a post game, but pretty good defense, a lack of strength as well, but amazing shooting, amazing finishing, and overall just a super nice card. And same goes for this Galaxy Opal Josh Smith, but you all know that Michael Beasley base is making me throw him up into the A tier. Just love this Josh Smith. He just does everything so beautifully for me. Like, Josh Smith is just one of those cards that I always want to use on my team in some sort of way, whether it be on the bench, off the, you know, as a small forward, or the power forward. He's just so beautiful for me, and a card that, again, basically run on every single squad. Next up, Galaxy Opal James Worthy, again running into the B tier. We're basically completely running out of space for our B tier here, but he's a beautiful card. It does everything super well, and just is hurt a little bit about the fact that he's just a slightly worse Andre Karolinko, who's falling into our A tier as well. Andre Karolinko is an absolutely beautiful card that, again, just does everything so well, and just fits every single squad beautifully. He has that Lamarcus Aldridge base on beautiful defense. Really good dribbling animations, if I'm being honest. I feel like AK for me just has some of the easiest dribbling animations to get down, just because of how much I had them down pat down at 2K19, but it's still a you know, no thrills player that comes in, fills every single spot beautifully, can play awesome defense, and just really be that glue guy if you need it. I guess like a Draymond Green type for the Warriors if you wanted to. And overall, is a really, really nice card. I'm just trying to make a little bit of room here just so we don't have to go on to like a second page. Sometimes it just be a little bit too much work to go over there and make a second page. So there we go. We'll move all of these guys over and have a nice little time. Josh Smith can come over here, as well as Andre Karolinko, and that really didn't even create the amount of space that I wanted to, because Galaxy Opal Kevin Durant is going to be flying into the A tier as well. KD is a overall really great card that, again, he's another one of those ones like a Andre Karolinko or a Josh Smith that really just fits every single squad, no matter, you know, who it is, because he can just shoot the three ball really well, play great at both positions, and the KD jump shot is just beautiful, good size at, like, I think this one is 6'9", good, you know, dribbling animations overall. A lot of people love the KD animations, and he's just, you know, again, a no thrills, perfect glue guy that you want on every single squad, and is just under getting that slow release, which is gorgeous. Now, the next guy we got here ranking is the Galaxy Opal Julius Irving, who for me usually is a very, very hard card to rank because I never know where I want to put him. Because Julius Irving can be amazing, but at the small forward, him only being 6'6" kind of hurts him for me. He has a Rudy Gay release, which is beautiful, but again, he just doesn't feel like he's that top tier card, especially as a small forward because he's 6'6", but the defense is great. I do feel like there's significantly better cards, so I really want to kind of throw a Julius Irving down to like a B tier, and I think that's probably where I'm going to have him land here. He's just, you know, so close to being great, but I feel like as a small forward, I really just can't have him any higher, and I'm going to have to rank him similar to that of our sadly departed Andre Iguodala, just because, you know, 6'6" the small forward, that ain't what we want. So next up is Galaxy Opal Dominique Wilkins, who is a card, again, for me, that I was really happy when they gave him an Evo boost. You know, 6'8" at the 2, beautiful. I mean, come on. That's like the size that you want your 2 guard to be. But with Dominique Wilkins, you know, that amazing slashing ability, but a bit of an iffy jump shot. I know it can hurt a lot of people, and I do think it definitely comes through and is a big negative when it comes to Dominique Wilkins. And if I'm being honest, I really don't use Dominique anymore, even though he has, you know, this upgrade. So in light of that, I'm going to have to throw Dominique into C tier. Just, you know, isn't bad enough that I'm viscerally reacting to him and throw him down to D tier, like Rick Barry and Jay Crowder getting their ass down there, but definitely not the most happy with it. So this is where our tier list is ending. If you want to move guys, you know, maybe like Robert Covington up to S, Hakeem or Rashard Lewis down to B tier, I could perfectly understand it, but this is where our final ones are. I'm not going to take the time to go through and side-to-side rankings. We've got so many cards, it's going to get a little hectic, and really just don't think. So we're just going to do it the straight in each tier time. Let me know what you guys think of this tier list, where you would move guys and other ones that maybe you think I forgot to add to the list. Like if you guys did enjoy, and subscribe if you guys are new. We are on that road to 6.9K. I hope you guys are great today, and I will see y'all in the next video.